this live feed, let them know I'm going to repost this live stream. I'm going to record it, edit it, then I'm going to post it on our site this evening, so it'll be for their viewer. They'll be able to view it about 7 o'clock tonight. So anytime after 6:30, it should be live for those who missed it today to see it now. But you still got time. If you know anybody that's having issues with visitation, go on, take a minute, call or text them and say, I'm about to start live, and I'm going to go over some general information about visitation and things that most people should know. All right, as we did in the text message, there's 3 things that we're going to cover today. We're going to discuss the business of visitation. We're also going to discuss, I left the notes over there. We're going to discuss the, hold on, let me grab my notes so I don't forget. You can tell this is live, huh? All right. So, for those who received the text blast, you should have received the information we're going to cover today. I mean, the e-blast. All right. We're going to discuss the multi-billion-dollar business of visitation or child support. We're going to talk about what are visitation rights, and then we're going to talk about how to start the process. So it's going to be about 10 to 12 minutes per discussion, and at the end of each discussion, you have a choice to go online and purchase the booklet that has all the details. Of course, I can't cover all the details, and of course, I'm not going to give legal advice either. I'm going to give you just a basic understanding of these 3 topics, so this way, you somewhat understand what visitation is. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the multi-billion-dollar business, visitation. As of right now, year to date, the state of Texas has collected approximately $3.8 billion, $3.8 billion in child support, financial support. So let's sit back and think about that. For all of us who are in the child support system, right now, as of, June, a half a year, $3.8 billion has been collected. Basically money. Now, I'm 100% is for we making sure our children or child or children get the support that they need. But I think the first thing we have to address is, how did we as parents get to the point to where our life as parents has become a multi-billion-dollar business? The truth be told, it's what it is. It's simple. When we have disagreements between the mother and the father, the first thing happens to get even with the other person. What happens? I'm going to put you on child support. Okay? Fine. That happened. Right there. You just came part of a $3.8 billion industry that regulates on what you do, how you do it, how much you pay, when you see your child or children, and the list goes on. It even tells you about doctor's appointments. Even worse is it talks about medical. If you got medical insurance on your job, but the mother or the custodial parent, which is most cases the mom, go out and get Medicaid, well, obviously, they're going to take the Medicaid. Why? It's more money. It's more money. It's a business. It's like an add-on. Now, they can regulate your medical insurance, they can regulate the amount of money that you pay, and they also can regulate when you see your child or children, all because of one filing. The multi-billion-dollar business instantly got into your space. Why? Because you went and put yourself on child support, or you went, the child mother put on child support, or however way it may go. Now there's some pros and there's some cons about that. The bad part about it is, now the state run your business. Basically, being a father nowadays is no longer, being the daddy, taking care of the kids, being a provider, all that. Now, you're jumping through hoops for the state of Texas. That's the bad part about it. The good part about it is, nothing can be enforced by court unless there's a court order. So it's kind of a win-win, lose-lose type of situation. So with that, if you're not on child support, then the state of Texas cannot enforce your visitation rights. If you are on child support, then the state of Texas will enforce your visitation rights along with everything else that you do as a parent. So with that, understand there's pros and cons in all businesses. All businesses. If you're running a restaurant, guess what? You make pretty good money, but you're working 12, 16 hours. Pros, cons. So, now that you know the business, the good thing is, if you're in the business of child support, you have rights, if it's in your court order, on when you can see your children, what days, time, all of that. Question is, have you taken the time to look at it? Have you taken the time to understand what your rights are? What the judge say you are entitled to? When? How? Is there an exchange location? And that whole list goes on and on and on. So be very careful about what you ask for unless you understand what you're entitled to. Several guys I know who had thought they had visitation right later found out that because they did nothing at the creation of the order, they had no rights. Even though along the way they had access to their child or children, they picked them up, they was calling, but the moment there was a disagreement between the parents and they defaulted back to the court order, basically he had nothing. So when you get this 14, 20-page order that says you are now paying child support, understand that's only one part of it. Turn, and until you see access and possession or visitation rights, holidays, school, summer breaks, all that, read it. I don't care if you got to sit on the toilet and read it in private. Highlight things you don't know, and then contact either your attorney or us, dads, fathers, and now get the questions answered. Because if you don't know when your days are, if you don't know what the times are, if you don't know if you're joint custody, sole custody, if you don't know any of those things, then how you don't run and ask for something? Just like any business, there are chapters and sub-chapters, there are guidelines, there are process, there are procedures. So the multi-billion-dollar business is just like a business. It's just like a business. Don't take it personal, get smart, get educated. It's a business. Now, knowing that it's a business, it's not so personal, or don't make it so personal, which would minimize your anger, which would minimize the family violence that stems off you not knowing what you're entitled to and what you're not entitled to. So, we'll get to the visitation violence side later, but keep that in the back of your mind. So now, you got this court order, you know what you're entitled to, you know your times, you know your days, you know everything that you're entitled to. Now, you know what to ask for in the business. So now, you're not talking out of emotion, you're talking facts. One thing I always like to say, when we're talking football or sports or basketball, what do we say? Man, look at his numbers. Man, look at his stats. Man, look what he did. We're speaking facts. We know exactly what this professional athlete done. So we're talking facts. How many dunks, how many touchdowns, how many passes, how many receptions. Okay, another business, child support. It's a business. What are the facts of your case? What are your times? Do you have an exchange location? Are you joint custody? Are you sole custody? You know, do you pick up from the school? Do you pick up from the home? You know, do you need to talk to each other straight? Do you need to go through the course? All that is in your order. And if you haven't read it, guess what? You don't know the facts. You don't know the stats. Hit the stats. So this way, you'll fully understand what to, for lack of better words, bark about, or complain about, or to push the issue in court. So, the first thing we talked about was the multi-billion-dollar business of child support. It's the first. Second, what are your rights? What are your rights? Now that's the big kicker. But before I go there, see all these books. Y'all can buy them. These books, and I'm going to get the camera person, if you can zoom in on this book so they can see the title. And if you can zoom in a little bit more, tilt it down, tilt it where it's in the angle. Right there. Zoom in a little bit more. If you can read, now tilt it where it's in the angle. Great. Now, if you can read that, it says victory over visitation. Victory over visitation. Now, you can zoom back out. Victory over visitation. Now, when we're talking about sports, when we're talking about all that stuff, we talk about who won the game. Was it a last-minute touchdown buzzer? Was it a buzzer beater shot? Was it a fast break? Any of that stuff. We talk about how was the victory. The victory. And with that, here's the victory. What is it you need to know to score, to win, to be successful, to not be a victim of family violence, to not to go to jail? Call it whatever you want to call it. Here's your answer. It's $10. It's not free. It's $10. I wrote this book because not only am I a father, not only am I the founder of Dad's Fathers of Texas, but I've been through it twice. I've been through it twice. And the second time is worse than the first time because the business keep evolving. The business keep growing. The business keep adding on, taking it away. And if you're not up to date, just like the sport, look at football. Football players are bigger, stronger, faster. The strategies are different. The plays are different. I mean, the Wildcat in the 2000s is different than the Wildcat in the 90s. But it's still the Wildcat, just like it's still child support. But the difference is now, the business keep evolving. So now you run around saying, well, I have rights. Okay? Well, every 2 years or so, the laws change. Every 3 years, they re-review your case. So when the last time you read your court order? When the last time you took the time to review your order? When the last time you took time to review what today's visitation rights are? I can guarantee you, for example, I'm a Cowboy fan. Emmitt Smith's facts about being the #1 running back in the NFL, although the records still stand, but I can guarantee you there's some other players right on his heel, and maybe this year is going to change the stats. So, I'm saying that to say, the same way we have to research stats of professional games, professional players, or anything that we enjoy as a hobby, we have to do the same thing when it comes to our visitation. Because the visitation rights are merely the stats. It's the stats. For example, my case in particular, when I first got started, I had joint conservatorship. I got pissed off. So I created the company. I still got mad. Threw up the bird sign and said, I'm out. It got modified. I had no rights. Then I realized it. Why? Because I checked my stats. Went back and reversed it. Had I never went back and checked my stats, I've been walking around here pissed off. Yeah, I'm finna go to court. I'm getting my rights. Then I get there pay an attorney X amount of dollars, and he's like, yo, Mr. Mike, you ain't got none. But because I took 15 minutes, found my order, read it, reread it, the old one and the new one, and saw it. I don't read that much, and I got bad vision. But I got a chance to see what I filed, and then what was changed because I got upset. Screw this, I ain't coming, I know I got it right, bump this. And she said, okay, my attorney, change all this. Now I'm stuck between a rock and a hard spot. The difference is, I know how to file and change it, and don't have to get an attorney, but I choose to because I was pissed. So you guys who flip it out, I do understand why you flip out. I'm still not saying it's right, but I do understand. So now, before you start running saying, I have visitation rights, what are your 2016 stats? What are they? Have anything changed? Now, even though they may not have changed in the order, has anything changed in the child's life, the mother's life, your life? Has anything changed? A lot of guys are like, yeah, I got my rights, I got this, I got that. But then what if, from the birth of your child got what they call a chronic illness? An illness. Well, I don't know nothing about it. They didn't tell me about it. So, it still exists. Now, with that, not only does that change the visitation, it changed the financial support. So what's the 2016 stats on your visitation, your quarterly? Yeah. And what I advise all you guys to do is take a minute and find out what that is. That's very important, because number two, what we're talking about is, what are your visitation rights? Most of us can say, yeah, I got standard rights, or yeah, the judge gave me rights. But there's about 3 different styles or more, or customized rights. Which one is yours? Which one? You have standard, extended standard, you can pick a child up from home, you pick the child up from school, you pick the child up from daycare. Is the child of age that you even have rights? Is the child of age to where they can determine whether they want to be with you or not? And the list goes on and on and on. Is it a child with a chronic illness, and because of that, neither do you have superior or the other, the visitation got to be directly at one place, and y'all change out? It's called the bird nest. Research that, the bird's nest visitation. So, I mean, the list goes on. The question is, what is your stats? Or, what is your visitation rights? How much time did they give you? When did they give it to you? Do you have Wednesday and Thursday for 2 hours? Do you have pickup on Thursday, return on Sunday? Do you have 1 week on, 1 week off? You see what I'm saying? So when we as men start barking and talking about our visitation rights, the first thing I like to tell a guy is, dude, what are your rights? What you got? What they give you? If I ask 10 guys that question, 9 of them are going to say, I don't know. Okay, do you have joint custody? Well, I want sole custody. I want, dude, okay. Yeah, I want $1 million too and not work for it too. What's the likelihood they're going to have? But the point of it is, we're here to help you. To either help you understand your order, get you an attorney that you can trust, or to coach you on how to do it yourself. Depending on what county you're in, depending on what stage your child or age your child is, it depends on what you have the ability to do. Pretty simple, and I always tell people I created a process called FLIP, Father's Learning and Involvement Program. And I broke it down to where our rights change from birth to age 3. It's one change. There's some things from birth to 3 that you really just don't have, period. Then from 4 to 11, there's another major change. 12 to 15, another major change. And then of course 16 to 18, the ultimate change. Where are you in that category? Where do you fall out in that group? So, question that all of us want to know is, yeah, she ain't let me see my child. I got rights. Okay, what are those rights? What are your rights? The booklet, I put down in the booklet that I created, I researched it, I wrote it down. I'm not an attorney, so I ain't trying to give you no legal advice. But I am a very good researcher. I took the Texas laws and I put them in one book so you don't have to run all over town and get it. I put the booklet together. You can log on to dadsandfathers.tv or dadsandfathersoftexas.com and get a copy of the booklet. That way, while you're chilling or whatever you're doing, you can look over it, read it. I almost said something out of place and I caught myself. But at least you'll be able to read what are visitation rights. You know, and at least you'll know what you're entitled. You know, and that's very important, guys. That's very, very important to know what are you entitled. If you don't know what you're entitled, then how are you going to ask for anything? There was somebody calling in, visitation rights, on the phone. Oh, so how do you want to know what are you entitled to? So if you tell the mom, I have rights, and if she all of a sudden say, okay, what are your rights? What are you going to say? What are you going to say? You know, me, I can say, well, I have standard. The standard order is 2 hours on Thursday from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Friday from 6 o'clock, pick up from the resident. Return on Sunday at 6 o'clock to the resident. Have summer times, which is summertime, which starts at the end of the school. I have rotating, see, I know what mine is. Why? Because I took the time to read it. So come summertime, I don't have to bark. I don't have to bark. I know during the summertime, here's what I'm entitled. Now, does that mean I act on it? No, I don't. But I know what I'm entitled. There's a difference. So, what are your visitation rights? So when the mother said you can't see your child or children, what exactly is she denying you of? What did the judge say she must give you? It's a good question, huh? Mm-hmm. So, with that, it's the second one. What are visitation rights? Now, lastly, starting the process to justice. That's an interesting topic. I wrote that because I know there are several of us who say we have visitation rights, who want our visitation rights. We are great fathers. All we want to do is get the baby mama, ex-wife, the oops, the one-night stand, or whatever title she is, out of the way. Let us be parents. Let's keep it real. That's what we really want. I don't need you to regulate me how I deal with my child, and I don't give a bamboozle whether you like my new girlfriend or new wife or not. I don't care. Bottom line is, as a parent, I am entitled to see my child, and here are my entitlements. So, one of the questions just text here was, the 1995 booklet is for what? Everything we're talking about today, and I'm going to get back to what I'm talking about. I'm going to answer that question. And by the way, if you do have a question, you can text me, obviously. Someone knew that. 469-644-9657, as well as reply back to the text blast that came via the email as well. But the book is going to give you, number one, all the information about what we're talking about today, which is the 3 topics. 3 topics. It's going to tell you about the multi-billion-dollar business of child support. It's going to tell you what visitation rights are. It's going to break down all, not all, but the most standard visitation options that are in the situation. So with that, all your attorneys, yeah, I'm calling you out. I don't like most of you anyway, who are screwing these fathers over and not helping them get their due justice in court. But that's my rant through with that. But what I am good at is researching And if you have a child mom who can be reasonable, if you're not being a jack, you know what, and talking about her and breaking her down, and you merely say, look, I want my rights, you can actually file for mediation and force you to resolve an issue. In my personal opinion, that is best. Because if two of you come to an agreement on it, the likelihood that both of you will stick to it. She may say, you know what, I don't mind you seeing the kid, I'm just very uncomfortable about our child going out of state. No different than you are. All right, cool. I tell you what, when I go out of state, I make sure you know where we are, and you can reach out to the Highlanders. She may say, okay, that may be her only concern. Some may have, well, I don't like our child around your new girlfriend or wife. Now you can reverse it. Okay, I won't have my child around my girlfriend, but ain't nothing you can do about my new wife. But remember, the door swings both ways. Our child can't be behind your new boyfriend either. But if you got a new husband, ain't nothing I can do about that. See, the process to justice, you got to start somewhere. It's more than just complaining. What did you try to resolve? What exactly was violated? Who witnessed it? Did you document it? When did it happen? Where did it happen? How long was the incident? What is the violation for its family violence? Was the cops called out? Was you assaulted? Did you assault? Did the child witness it? And the list goes on and on and on and on. The purpose of getting the book is understanding there is a starting point, but there's a lot of moving parts in that starting point. So with that, the book would do you well. The book would do you very well, because you'll be able to read all 13 chapters I wrote, and now you know how to ask educated questions about visitation and visitation rights and visitation violation, family violence, when to call the cops, when to run and take one for the team. Can you videotape? Can you audio record? And the list goes on and on and on and on. So, that's about a 30-minute discussion we just had. So what I'm going to do is stop it here. And what we're going to do is let you know next week, next Wednesday, 11 o'clock, right here, we're going to do it again in 4 sessions. Each week, we're going to add to it. I strongly encourage you to get a hold of some fathers who really need to know this information. If you're an organization that I sent information to, I encourage you to, if you need to, get a group of your guys together, put it on your computer, put it on a big screen, let them watch this first one, and then each week it evolves. If you have any questions, go out to the site, send your question. As some did, I would answer those the best that I can without giving legal advice. If it comes down to it, I have a special session with an attorney to answer all those questions. But the main thing we have to understand, this is summer season. And already the number of cases of family violence is up. The number of deadly family violence cases are up. And if we continue to do what we always have done, we're going to continue to get what we already have gotten. Quit talking about it. Put a call to action in place. Know what the process are. Know what your rights are. Know what programs you can go to. Know what you need to do. Get educated. Understand the contract in which you are under and how the mother, or if it's the father, breached that contract, better known as violated your visitation rights. But in order to do that, you have to know what's in the contract. And if you don't understand it, that's fine. Give us a call or text or email. We would be glad to sit down and go line by line, page by page with you. There will be a small fee. It's not free. But it's cheaper than going to jail. It's cheaper than losing your rights. And it's cheaper than going 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years and your child seeing you as less than a penny. So, anything further that you need, feel free to, again, dadsandfathers.texas.com or dadsandfathers.tv, or text me or call me directly, 469-644-9657. or email me, mmike@dadsandfathers.tv or mmike@dadsandfathers.texas.com. So you know how to find me. I think that's about all I want to cover today, because I don't want to put too much out there. Remember, this video will repost about 6:30, so that way people at 7 o'clock can rewatch it. If you have something you need me to cover for next week, let me know. Otherwise, share this with a friend, share this with your organization, and help us help each other to stop the violence. As simple as that. Because if we continue to say we have rights and do nothing, we're going to continue to get frustrated, which means we will blow up. I've done it. 10,000 hours of education, and trust and believe, that fatherly temper went to the limit. If you don't have nearly that training, likelihood you're not only going to blow up, you're going to make a mistake. I was blessed. I didn't make a mistake. I didn't put hands on nobody. I sure put words on somebody. And that's even worse, because emotional scars don't heal as quick as physical scars. All right. Well, that's my 38 minutes. And I guess next Wednesday, 11 o'clock, I'll see you right here at the second of 4 Visitation Violation series. I'm Mike. I'll see you next week.